Well, growing up as a kid, my father had a nice collection of watches. I would just watch them at night. He'd wind them before bed and stuff. And through the years, I just more or less accumulated watches. And then I remember there was a turning point. It was in the late 80s when I picked up a Tissot while we were on a cruise, and it was $60. Because that was the entry into my love of watches. Over the years, it just kind of grew and grew. I have a bachelor's and a master's in mechanical engineering, and then maybe about a year or so after we graduated, me and a bunch of my friends, we got together for lunch, and a buddy of mine was wearing an Elise Open Heart. Where'd you get it? He's like, I bought it on eBay. And I don't know why, it just got in my head. I was like, I could sell this. That has just, kind of snowballed 20 years later into, running a, full-fledged watch business. And eventually I did quit the engineering. So when I was younger, I worked for my father in his hardware store, and I saw what being your own boss was. I realized that this is going to be, my path. Of course, it shares the pleasure of, working with wristwatches, which of course I immensely enjoy. And I would say that I was kind of born on the internet. One of the original internet dealers. Not many of the original guys are still around. Internet was very young. A lot of people didn't want to even talk about internet dealers. It was, it was hushed very quietly. Oh, we don't deal with internet. I used to walk around trade shows. They'd look at my badge. They'd say, oh, where in Huntington are you? And I would say, oh, I'm online. And then they were done talking to you. Oh, we don't deal with online dealers. Then over the years, I was able to gain trust of people that just kind of knew me as a person first, more than an internet watch dealer. And then through connections like that, people were able to say, Marc from LongIslandWatch.com, he's one of the good guys. He's not like the gray marketers that you see running around. He's a trustworthy guy, and I was able to get my foot in the door. And once it started with a couple of brands, it's been growing and growing. I'm able to get more, prestigious brands or larger name brands. And everybody got to know me, and I got to be known for amazing customer service. It really started with me first getting more esoteric brands, and then over the years, as I kind of built up more of, an online following and an online community, I was able to attract, some of the larger brands, such as Seiko, or Orient, or Damasco, or even more recently Zodiac. And it just, obviously lends more credibility to the store on the whole, but also lets me give the customer a wider variety of things to choose from. So I can cover everything from, $100 up to, a few thousand if you're looking for, something super special. Definitely starting my YouTube channel was easily one of the smartest decisions I ever made. I never thought that it would really grow to what it is today. Just to see the comments from people interacting and saying, yes, I love it, or I don't like it because you put the date at 3, you should have put the date at 6. And ditto on Instagram. So over the years of doing all the social, you see what people say, you take their feedback, and then you can easily put that into, into product development and figure out what everybody wants. Because if you just listen to the customer, they will tell you what they want to purchase. Again, I started to realize that I can't will a watch to appear. So eventually I was like, you know what? I just gotta start my own brand. I knew that starting the Islander brand would allow me, just creative freedom, artistic freedom. I was able to deliver something that everybody asked for, or a lot of people, and I knew what they wanted. It was a great success. Right now, I've started working with Fine Timepiece Solutions out in Fountain Hills, Arizona, working on USA assembled watches. It's a small part of my business, but I really want to grow that, and I think that that is definitely where the future lies. America used to be like the Switzerland of the watch world. And then over time, a lot of that knowledge and equipment and everything just kind of disappeared. Working with vendors to try to bring more capabilities to the US, and hopefully one day have a fully made in the USA watch would really be totally amazing to have every component actually made here. So we really need to bring that back, and very slowly we're starting to assemble watches here. So if we could design, develop, build, test, assemble everything in the US and come up with a fully made in the USA watch, I think that would be fantastic. From day one, I knew 100% that you had to offer the best customer service. So growing up in my father's hardware store, I noticed his customer interaction was always amazing. And I remember one day a guy walked in with a piece of wood that he wanted cut. My dad said, where do you want it? The guy drew a line. My dad takes the wood, runs downstairs, he hears zzz, comes back up, the wood's in 2 pieces, gives it to the guy, and the guy says, what do I owe you? My dad says, nothing. It took me 2 seconds. Came back in the next day and spent like $500 on tools, hardware, and everything else. And I realized that being kind and being nice is probably the most important thing, and it's what I learned from being in this store. Customer service is really is job number one, it's priority number one. More than the watches, it's really what the whole brand represents. So when Island Watch started, clearly it was just me. I was selling stuff on eBay. I was doing literally everything from the packing, the shipping, the marketing, the listings, all the banking and stuff. And then it got to be too much for me as business grew, so I hired my first person. That would be Mike, my brother-in-law, to help me out. And then the years go on, I need somebody else. And then we've grown and grown and grown. I got Clinton, he does my full-time marketing. He's up in Connecticut. Now I have Silvio, he's my graphic artist. I hired Ryan 2 years ago. He worked for me at my old engineering job to kind of help me out with more of the day-to-day operations. Believe it or not, recently, I needed another person. So I hired my sister. And so we're all just like a big team, a big family. It makes coming to work like a real hoot. Of course, in the back, making sure I'm on the straight and level is my wife. She is the accountant and bookkeeper of the business, but we're all one big happy family. We all laugh together. We get together for a barbecue at my house every year. It's a great time. It really makes coming to work just a whole hell of a lot of fun.